left. But I'd like to start. First, I'd like to introduce myself. Thank you for coming. My name is Ole Olsen. I'm the founder of Digital Collections. And I would like to give you a brief overview about why we're here, what we are doing, and how it's integrated with Drupal and what kind of role these systems are playing in a multi-channel publishing environment. That's the title of this speech. So I'd like to start to giving you an overview what we are doing. And the question that I asked myself is, I also like to answer to you why something like Digital Collections is needed for a publishing environment, especially when it comes to a Drupal environment where you can handle a lot of assets. That's what we're doing as well. The biggest difference might come up during the speech. That's what we're doing. We developed a central content hub. The idea was ages ago, 1991, we decided we wanted to publish digital newspapers, which was a strange idea. There was no internet available, there was no full text retrieval available, no Google, no nothing. So we had to develop everything ourselves. The internet was 8 ISDN lines, and the retrieval engine was a Next machine, which Steve Jobs developed after he left Apple. And the first customer was the Focus magazine of Germany, which was the first digital publication available over ISDN lines 2 days before it got printed. It was the first magazine worldwide, I think, and it was based in our little Next machine back in Hamburg. So and we're still doing the same thing, more or less. This content hub thing, that's what we had to develop. Receives moving data like RSS feeds, like blogs, like wires, user-generated content, photo, video content, and archive material. So it's divided into two parts. One is the incoming news, the monitoring part, so that the editor knows what's going on outside in the world, what's happening, what is interesting to write about. And on the other hand, that's an archived area where everything goes in which has been produced over the years, which can end up in the biggest site that we have today has 65 million assets in the system and receives up to 640,000 pictures a day. Don't ask me how they monitor that stuff, but it's a proven number. So these things can scale a lot. And what do we offer? We do offer a search engine, which was our own search engine in the beginning. Right now we're using Solar Lucene, a standard thing that you can also use with Drupal. We added a rights management tool so that the editor who sees what is interesting, which picture he likes to use, he can also see if he is allowed to use it and for which channel. So there might be different rights situations for online, for print usage, or for apps and whatever they provide. We do have a semantic engine that we developed ourselves to add tags to content so that we can compare content, something which you will see live, and a little workflow engine. And then we do have these different connectors to output systems like print systems, like various CMS systems and social media. Our semantic engine is, if you want to have more information about that, I can talk later about this. Can talk for hours about this thing. It's a classification and a named entity recognition tool, which is a service, a web service, which has something like 100 million requests on the site a year. So, and we ended up at the end of the day with a lot of users. We do have about 180 mostly big publishing sites who are using our systems all over the world. That looks like we are a very big company. We are not. We are 23 people in Hamburg. It's a small market, but in this market niche, we might be the market leader. I think so. So this is the typical use case, and the one which is also mentioned in the speech thing. This is the Ringier company, the biggest publisher in Switzerland. You know that? You can talk about this as well. They do have various different publications. And these different publications are published on different channels, like print, like online, like web, like apps, and syndication channels as well. And they're using various different systems, like Woodwing, which is a InDesign-based print publication production system, or eScenic, which is a CMS, content management system, yeah? Like Drupal, WordPress, and they developed something themselves, which is called Columbus as well. So what they wanted to achieve is they wanted to have one central content hub, and which can feed all data to all these different devices and to all these different channels. So they had a good decision. They decided for a DC system. And so they have all pictures and all this material which you have seen before and are in the system. And they also decided to use our editor to generate new articles in our system, which gives them the opportunity or the effect that they only need one editor to write for different channels. Beforehand, the online editor denied to work for print and otherwise, the other way around. So because these were technically different editors, technically different systems, they all said, no, I cannot do that. I'm not familiar with that. I can't do that. So right now they do have one editor that works for all these different channels and all these different publications. So they only need to have one editor right now. 15 minutes are gone already? Yeah. Oh, shit. Yeah. So one article in different versions to different channels, and they do content sharing, so everybody has access to this content, all these different publications. And right now, the tendency of the publishers, since the market is getting more and more difficult, is to build bigger groups to share one article about a tennis match, for example, in the same article in many different newspapers, just to save money. 15 minutes. Yeah. Yeah. 5 minutes are gone. So okay, that's much better. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. One effect that you can use using the Semantic Engine is, for example, if you're writing an article, we can compare articles from competitors, for example, so that you see if you're writing this article about Ebola, you can see that the Washington Post, Spiegel, Guardian, they are writing about the same thing. So if you say that my main competitor is the Spiegel, for example, you could ask, how is the Spiegel article performing in social media right now, to get a PI prediction or forecast, an idea how good this will work. The thing behind it is that to find out that there is a similar article, and then the rest is easy to do. And we're using this tagging that we're doing with our Semantic Engine. So now we're coming finally to Drupal integration. The case that we have at Ringier is, correct me if I'm wrong, Miro. We do have a JSON API, and through that you can directly, per drag and drop, take content from our system into Drupal. And if, for example, the right situation of a picture changes within our system, so that it's getting banned, you have a problem that you're not allowed to use it anymore, this will be pushed to Drupal so that Drupal knows I'm not allowed to use this picture anymore. So this is the integration. You will see a different integration right in 5 minutes when I do my online demo, where we drag and drop articles and do this rights tracking. That's basically the main, the interface there. What we're interested in, our needs, I already talked to you. We're considering if you can use an editor, maybe paragraphs, it's called, or the other one is called the one from WordPress 5. Gutenberg, huh? Maybe it might be interesting for us to consider how we can use this and integrate that. And a search widget for Drupal. If somebody has something like that or wants to develop something like that, talk to me. Okay, I'm going to show you something live. Here we go. This is a DCX interface for professional users. It has on the left side, it has channels with different data. And if I click on picture, then I see pictures, wire text, emails, uploads, my uploads, RSS feeds like leading media, things like this, and something that you might have not seen beforehand is archives of newspapers, printed stuff, and a picture archive as well. I'd like to show you, if I click on this picture, I get some information because we're tracking a lot of information here. For example, we see where has this picture been used, in which publication, on which site, and we can also see where, on which page, how do these pages look like, and the other articles which have been used on that page as well. And you get some additional information that it has a variance, for example. So if I click here, I'll see that there were different variants. This one is color corrected for print, and this is a different crop. What else? You see that it's difficult to get on these little icons there. Online usage is okay, that's the right situation. Published, it has been published. It is planned for another publication, so that I see as an editor, somebody took this picture already today, so just to avoid any duplications of using pictures. And it's free required, and it's archived. So that's some additional information. I will not go into all these details. This might get too boring. I like to show you how to create an article. Let's first, we're going to search for something like Vettel. Let's search like you do at Google. We do have different ways of searching. A faceted search. We have 203 hits here, and I could out of these 203, 191 are tagged with Sebastian Vettel, and out of these 191, 23 are tagged with Hockenheim, and out of these I have 3 with Lewis Hamilton. So I can simply click through, and I get always a suggestion of what else could be interesting for me. Well, that's the second way of searching, and we got a very sophisticated way of searching. I will not show you how these the librarians like to search, because they like to use thesauruses and very difficult and weird kind of things. But most of their searches are done the way I just showed you. The one thing is where we are using our Semantic Engine again, is related content. We call this from searching to finding. So let's say I'd like to have similar pictures like this. The system automatically searches for similar content and gives me suggestions. There's nothing here. What could be interesting for me as well. That works for pictures as well as RSS feeds of competitors, like I've just shown, writing an article, seeing what else is available about this thing in the press. It works the same way here. So this is about Otto. It automatically finds everything about Otto. That's not perfect, but almost. It works pretty precise. So if I say this is about soccer, and I've asked the German leading media, and tell me this is available in Zeit Online, Süddeutsche, and other publications, Handelsblatt, and so on, just by clicking on it. All right. And we can put these things into collections and organize ourselves, but I don't want to go into all these details. I'd just like to write an article right now. Before, I'd like to see what some details about the pictures. This is something that editors love. They're browsing through the details, they zoom into that and see what the details. Then go back. Say, okay, these are the interesting pictures, and put them into a collection, for example. In this case, I'm not doing that. I am doing a cross query through text and picture material, and I now found a text, and I selected 11 documents right now, and I said, like to create a new story with these documents. Now our editor comes up. Here we go. It's a tiny MCE in the middle. And so I can write this article right now, can do things like this. And I can say save, because this is a completely media neutral article. It's got nothing specific in it. Right now I'm creating a variant for my online edition. You see this on the left side. Now we do have two variants, one neutral and one online. Let's write the article, save this, maybe change the images. So I'd like to have this image instead of that. I'd like to have a gallery. Thanks a lot. And what else? Maybe, yeah, if you would like to put in, for example, a YouTube video, and you need to add a media slot. 5 minutes to go. Okay, I want to skip that. Just let me publish this. Let's say this is done now. Save it. Say publish online. In my sports department. Publish. Where it is. Is it here? No. There it is. Here we go. So now this has been pushed into Drupal. Drupal picked up, you might know better than me, how this technically has been done. The guy who's responsible for that is sitting there. And Drupal decided on, based on the tags and the structure of the article, how to display that. So I can open up the same article in WordPress. Something you might not like. It looks different. It's the same thing. So I pushed it into both systems. It's HTML. And just as a last thing, such an article can also be used for print publishing. Something we did together with the company PPI, which is called Content X. It's an editorial system. So if I get this article, I need to create, do I have the time? A print edition first. Otherwise, I'm not allowed to do so. Saved. Search. Story. Here we go. So now this is in print as well. So I pushed it into different channels. So that's so far from me. And you'd like to, Francis will talk about our JSON API for the left 3 seconds.
Good. Can you hear me? Yeah. Hi, my name is Franciszek Leginski. I'm working at Digital Collections for almost 1 year, and I'm here to show you our integration and to make you an idea how to connect to our solution, how this multi-channel display and data handling works. It's really simple. You already know it. So, most of you did already work many years with such way, and we are providing a PHP SDK. That's a library that it's a bridge between our system and your solution. One example, if anyone would like to go deeper or work with an example already working code, Burda, yeah, here is Burda magazine already integrated and worked with our library. So this is a working module provided by Burda, and this is the integration of our JSON client, and the whole communication is. Kannst du mal stoppen? Stoppen. Give it. Dismiss. Sorry for that. So, for PHP, we are providing our SDK solution, and we are also providing newly for the Node.js and JavaScript world also a JavaScript SDK. And just to make you an idea how this whole communication works, I would like to show you really briefly our example of communication. So this is our DCX URL. You log in, and also from there on, you're working with this token. You get a token, and this is this is a get object example, how we get, for instance, a headline. This is the whole object. We are working with documents, with objects. We are not specific like text object or image or something. Everything's object and it's a type. And like that, you could, for instance, require objects in Drupal. I'm not going to into details how you do that and how you can solve your use case or such. This is a brief idea how you communicate with that system, and I would like to show you. It's really easy. Like it's nothing, no science, big science behind it, and yeah. Okay. The rest of the methods are the same, and I'm afraid we are running out of time. So thank you for your attention, and yeah.